Welcome to Supplier Spot Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Join us as we chat with suppliers, park owners, and staff, uncovering insights, strategies, and stories that will elevate your outdoor experience. Get ready for inspiration and innovation in every episode.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Supplier Spot Spotlight. I'm here with Ed O'Bridgman. I'm Bobby Sorden. Ed, thank you for taking the time to come on this podcast with me and talk a little bit about your business, talk a little bit about Supplier Spot. As I mentioned right before we started recording, this is just kind of like a free-for-all talking type podcast and, just learn a little bit about what you do. And of course, I like to get your thoughts about Supplier Spot when you first heard about it and like the whole process you went through and just kind of your thoughts and ideas about Supplier Spot and what do you think about it. So Ed, why don't you introduce yourself and your business and, talk a little bit about Supplier Spot and we'll talk about what you do with your business.
Thank you very much for inviting me. My business is EOB Consulting, and I design RV destinations as well as boat and RV storage facilities all over the country. I do feasibility analysis, identify the correct type of RV destination that fits each unique location. And then I do a 10-year cash flow to identify what the construction cost is going to be, the revenue stream is going to be, the operating cost, and the cash flow. So I take you from concept through ready to break ground. And then also for if you're looking at an existing RV destination or boat and RV storage, I can do the same feasibility analysis on that and make recommendations on how you can increase its value and what the 10-year cash flow is going to be with that.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Sounds like a lot of work too. Yeah, I'll share the story with you quick. My cousin and his partner own a piece of land in Texas, Northeast Texas, by Bob Sanden Lake. He keeps talking about wanting to make it into an RV park. They own another park in Texas, but it's completely bare ground. So I might have to talk to you a little bit more about that and maybe connect you with my cousin and say, hey, maybe we can build this out and see what you can do for us. So.
Absolutely. We're very affordable, but we do charge for expenses, and we're going to Texas to Canyon Lake on the 3rd of June. We have our next client is next week at Canyon Lake. So
great.
If we can combine, what we like to do is have more than one client at a location so that we can reduce those expenses.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I know he's working on getting a park right now in Florida that has a marina. I just talked to him actually last week. So he's kind of figuring things out with his partner. But yeah, maybe I'll connect with you about that after this podcast. But so I just want to talk to you first before we get into like the real details of what you do with your business and talk a bit more. And I'll bring up the site here. But what were your thoughts about Supplier Spot and walk us through like the whole process of getting signed up and doing your listing and everything? Can you kind of walk us through that?
So I was introduced to Supplier Spot through email.
Okay.
I received an email and it said, here's what we're trying to do, and this is how you sign up for it. I probably receive something similar to that about once a week. And I would say I throw away 95 of them before I open one up. It caught my eye, and I thought, wow, what an interesting concept to be able to communicate from park to park. This RV industry is unique in the fact that there are so many people who want to contribute that it's not competitive. You can have another park 3 miles down the road from you, and they can be full and they can be successful and they can be one type of destination, and you can be full and you can be successful and you can be the same type of destination or a different type of destination. And everybody's happy, and there's no reason for the two owners to have a competitive spirit. So it's I'm all about helping people. I'm all about making other people's success. EOB Consulting is not only my initials, it's also empowering others to be their best. And so it fit right in with my theme. And so I went ahead and launched it. and it asked me a few questions. I don't remember it taking longer than 6 or 7 minutes to answer these questions. And I was literally surprised. It said, okay, you're in. And I was thinking it was going to be difficult. I thought it was going to be something that I was going to get frustrated over. And really, it was over before I got a chance to get frustrated. So I became a member, and I was like, oh, it didn't cost anything, and it was easy, and it's a intelligent concept.
Great. Well, I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to do with it, Ed. I know I told you a little bit earlier about I used to look for a park management system in this industry, and my whole goal behind Supplier Spot was to stay in this industry. I mean, I met so many great people like you, and all the people like we finally got to meet in person in Florida a couple weeks back, and I just really wanted to build something that was useful for suppliers such as yourself or consultants, but more importantly too for RV park owners and staff members, where they can actually find the people like you. And I just pulled up your listing here. All I did for people who were kind of watching is I just went right up here to search listings and typed in consulting, and it brought up the list of people who are in that category of consulting, and it just brought up your whole list here, and it talks a little bit about who you are and your summary profile, which is awesome. And this is exactly what I wanted this site to be, was a place where RV park owners and staff members can go and find people to help them do things, even if they don't even have the park set yet. Because you were telling me earlier that you go from nothing, like just raw ground, and you walk them through the whole process, where that's what I'm hoping this site would do, is bring people who have this thought. Like I'm on a lot of these Facebook groups where they're like, hey, we're thinking about turning our land into an RV park. What do I need to know? And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, you're going to get inundated with just information, where a person like you can say, all right, we got to walk you through step by step. And, I also put on here, I really got a good idea from somebody else that was a supplier that I was talking to. And she's like, hey, have you ever thought about putting like a field on there that says associate and supplier member? Then they can check off the boxes where they're actually a supplier member for those associations, because my goal with this was to help the associations. When I first started talking about launching this, I reached out to several people in the industry thinking, hey, is this a good idea? Do you think I got something going on here? Because I've really only been on this side of the industry for about 2 years. I'm an avid camper, though. I have a fifth wheel and a boat and all that good stuff. So I'm always out enjoying the outdoors. And I was a little worried because I thought associations would think that I'm trying to like take their suppliers away from them. And it's the complete opposite. I'm trying to help these associations. And I worked closely with Bobby Cornwell with Florida. He was actually the first person to sign up on Supplier Spot. And he's like, this is great, and I even talked to a few suppliers that I got on here and had them go and actually list on the Florida Alabama Association and actually go and get a booth there. So, I'm just glad that you're on here, because I heard a lot of great things about you too in the industry, and I finally got the chance to meet you in person. And so, yeah, I think it's great. It looks like you're located here in, where is this?
Mobile, Alabama, but we do work all over the United States. And actually, you mentioned something that reminded me. On our website, EOB-consulting.com, right there on the front page, there is a page called Step by Step. You mentioned Step by Step. And for free, I have a tutorial. There it is at the top of that, Step by Step. Okay. And you can click on that, and it'll take you 10 minutes, and then you can read about how to start an RV destination from raw ground to finished product.
This is awesome.
I think there's down somewhere on my website under more, I guess, we actually did a pilot episode explaining. We went around to different places that we were, and it's a 30-minute pilot episode that they were going to put on TV. And it talks about how you go from raw ground to finished product. These options are free for you to go check out, and take 10 minutes to watch them, and you'll learn quite a lot. So I'm not trying to hide anything. I want to share as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this looks great, Ed. And this is exactly why I wanted to build Supplier Spot, because really Supplier Spot, there's like nothing out there that was like it, one centralized location. I mean, I know a lot of the associations have their supplier members listed on there, But my goal was, for example, even for people like you're talking about going from raw ground, but I see a lot of comments on like the Facebooks and on the LinkedIn's and things out there that are saying, hey, I'm going to expand my park. I bought this park existing, 10 years ago, and now I'm ready to expand it. What do I need to know for electric and, sewer and sanitation and all that other stuff? Where even though you're talking about raw ground, that's still the same concept. You got a park already with some raw ground. Now you got to tie into it. And that's where I think people like you come into play when it comes to the consulting piece of things. So,
Exactly.
and that's why I try to build this I'm trying to build Supplier Spot as a kind of like your step by step, like a one centralized location where you could actually go and find people of your nature that'll help people who are in the park industry or getting ready to start becoming part of the park industry. So, yeah, I
More
think it's
than
great
happy
how
to
you have all
help.
that in there.
So much so that I have people contact me once a week, maybe 3 times a month. Somebody will contact me and they'll say, I'm looking at this piece of property. I haven't purchased it yet, but I'm considering it. What do you think? I'll spend 30 minutes on the computer, do a Google Earth review, look what's around there, ask you several questions, because anybody who doesn't ask any questions and just starts throwing out numbers is an idiot. But I'll ask you a bunch of questions. We'll spend 30 minutes together, and for free, I'll tell you if this is something that I think you should pursue, or if there are other opportunities out there, in my experience, that will offer you more for better value.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's like that free consultation type thing. So, yeah, I noticed behind you too. I want to bring that to you. It looks like you got a bunch of cameras back there, security cameras. Is that like a park you're at or something? I mean, what is all that stuff? That's cool stuff.
So I own Homestead RV Community. That's homervc.com. And it is the most technologically advanced RV destination in the entire world. And I keep it that way. I'm an electrical engineer with a master's degree, and we were the very first to be able to automatically meter and monitor both electric and water usage at every site and every building. So 4 years ago, we anticipated that there was going to be a high demand to be able to read electric meters. And a lot of people now are prorating to the first of the month and then reading all the meters by hand. We don't do that. We read all of our meters electronically. When you check in, your meter is automatically read. When you check out the next day, the next week, the next month, reoccurring, whatever, everything is done automatically. We have 20 acres that we keep mowed like a golf course. We have 4 bathrooms, 11 toilets. We have 5 jacuzzis that we can deliver to any site. We escort every single person to their site. We deliver the mail. We deliver the packages. We have a virtual store that's open 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we do all this with 1 employee because we're so virtual, because we're so automated. We're able to do all of this very simply, very easily. That 1 employee works about 25 hours a week. My wife and I work the other 2. We work 2 days a week, and they work 5 days a week. We've been open just over 3 years. We have over 320 Google reviews. We're carrying a 4.9. So Homestead RV Community is not just a profit center where we maintain about 80% occupancy year-round average, but it's also where I showplace people. My clients come here and I show them how to develop the latest RV destination in the world, what the latest features are. And then this is also where I beta test both hardware and software for other companies, other industry products. So I'm constantly finding the latest pedestal, the latest software, the latest electrical meter, the latest transmitter. I'm constantly testing those myself, and consequently, I can comment, I can consult my clients. What we're working on back here, I don't like gates. I'm a community, Homestead RV Community, and I want to give the open feeling of welcoming to my guests. So I don't have gates, but I have very high security. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but we catch everybody's license plate on the way in and the way out. We may not be able to prevent somebody from doing something stupid, but we can tell you who was here at that time. So we have a lot of security cameras, and we're adding more. We're adding a pool right now, and we're going to be adding a lot more security cameras. We don't look inside the bathrooms, but we can tell you who's in the bathrooms. We can see when they went in, when they came out, who was in there with them. We are trying to prevent anybody from doing something stupid.
That's great. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Mark Kep too, because I see here you're using Campground Views to do this little video. So
I
Mark's
was
a
the
great
very
guy.
first. Again, I'm constantly on the cutting edge of technology. So, Mark, talk to me about this concept of being able to do a tour. I was the
Yeah.
very first to sign up for that. I'm constantly pushing the state of the art for Homestead here, testing the state of the art here at Homestead so that I can go on site and tell my clients what is the best pedestal for them, what is the best software for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. Yeah. So, I mean, right on the home page there, you can just click on that start tour and watch the little 360 tour. Yeah, Mark Kep's a great guy. So, and you were saying you're doing the meter reading too. Are you doing that all on your own, or are you using a third party for that as well?
We're using third parties, and I have beta tested all of the third parties that have meters, and we picked the best for us. Several consultants. There's 15 different consultants in the United States, and many of them will say, I've owned 2 or 3 or 4 RV destinations, or they'll say parks because they don't understand that there's 5 different destination types. But they'll say, okay, I've owned one, or I've owned 2 or 3 or whatever. But none of them own any. I'm the only one that owns one now. Okay. And I'm the only one that's using uh, the latest technology and beta testing the latest technology, and who is up to date with the latest technology. So uh, that's what sets me aside from. And we're also larger too. We do more each year than the others. So we do over 30 a year. And during the competitive analysis, we go out to each site and their unique location, and we do a competitive analysis. We're in the area for 3 days looking at all their peers. So we physically see over 600 RV destinations each year. And so we see the good and the bad and what's going on. That tour you're taking right there, you can stop it at any time. You can swivel it around. You can look up in those sites. You can see you can see the information about those sites. You could even put in the dates, and it'll tell you if that site is available when you want to do it, what sites are available or highlighted in green. Uh, that's pretty slick. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
We're
this
putting
is.
in a new pool right now. It'll be open the 1st of August, and I'm actually going to have Mark come back out and redo my tour to include the pool area and some of the new amenities that we've installed since this was done a couple of years ago.
Wow, that sounds cool. Hey, maybe I should come out there too when he's out there, and I'll do like a little on-site podcast type thing, so we can plug you and Mark both. Because Mark's on a Supplier Spot as well. He was one of the first ones to sign up as well. I met him for the first time at a Coney 2 years ago or so, and we really hit it off, and we keep in touch every once in a while. He's traveling around with his kids, and he's in Wyoming, and I'm just down here in Colorado, so we're not too far from each other. But yeah, let me know about that. Maybe I'll come out there and do like a live podcast. I can check out your park as well. I'll just stay on
That would
site
be
there. So,
awesome. Yeah,
do
we
you do
don't
a
have a
camper?
park. We don't have a park. There are 5 different RV destination types. Parks are the only ones losing money right now.
So
Campgrounds are just as old as parks. They're 100 years old. Then there was resorts, then there was communities, and now there are hybrids. We're a community, and community is the one in the highest demand. The community is what we develop the majority of, because most people want to maximize the value of their property. And so we design what fits their unique location. but we're finding a higher demand for communities than anything else right now.
Well, then I got to come out and visit your community then, not your park. So do you
Exactly.
have like cabins or anything, or is it just strictly they bring in their own stuff?
Well, actually, what we're doing now, and it'll be starting next month, when the pool comes up, we're going to start selling individual sites. So you will buy your site, and then you will have the option to put a portal over your concrete pad. Our smallest concrete pad is 20 foot wide, 70 foot long, and you can buy a portal pole barn that goes over the entire thing, or abbreviated, a smaller version of a portal, and then you have an option of 3 different country cottages that you can put in. One's 550 square feet, 650 square feet, 950 square feet. These are not park models that have to stay under 400 square feet. These are not park models that are on wheels. These are brick and mortar, concrete foundation on solid that you can live in. Okay, these are small houses. Okay, so we are selling sites and selling these country cottages, and we already have 23 people on a waiting list that want one. So pretty excited about that. And then you use our rental management system to rent your site. It's a deeded property. You can sell it, you can will it to somebody, you can, it's your property.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Are you gonna allow them to do like VRBO, Airbnb type thing, but it'll go through your system instead, right?
It'll go through our reservation system, but they have the right to, it's their property. It's deeded to them, just like a condo association. So the pool, the shuffleboard, the public areas, there'll be a condo association fee, but they'll purchase their site. Then they'll purchase, if they want one of these country cottages or an outdoor storage or an outdoor garden area that's privacy fenced, and they'll manage that portion. What I anticipate is that several people will be here for 6 months, and then they'll rent it out for 6 months, and our management team will rent it out for them.
Wow, that's great. It sounds like a lot of cool stuff that's coming up. So, well, Ed, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, I learned a lot from you. I didn't realize you had all this stuff. I just thought you were a consultant. I didn't know you owned a park, to tell you the truth, before this meeting came on. I know I saw some links and stuff in your email, but I didn't really click on them. So this is what I love about these podcasts is, you can learn some stuff about it. I mean, I think it's great that you're an actual RV park owner and then also do the consulting. I mean, that puts a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like oomph behind you.
Experience. This isn't, other consultants will say, well, I used to own a place. I used to do it. That doesn't mean it was successful. That doesn't mean it ever was a good place to be. It might have been a bad experience, but no, I have a very, very, very successful. We've been open just over 3 years. We're carrying over 320 Google reviews at a 4.9 earning.
Yeah, that's great.
So people love being here. People really appreciate this concept. This is where my clients come to say, yeah, build me one of these. So yeah, success is building upon its success.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, I want to wrap it up too. So I wanted to ask you your thought about this, and I'm just throwing this at you. I didn't even prepare you for it, but you were one of the people in the supplier spot trivia session that I hosted. So it was like the very first time I ever got to do this. And quick little background for you and a couple of people that are whoever's going to be watching this. But I own a DJ business here in Colorado Springs. I've had it since 1999. I had employees working for me at one point. I had company vehicles. I mean, I really had it built up. And as I got older and I got kind of tired of working every single Saturday, and I can only imagine what you RV park own or RV community people own, you homestead community, working every weekend pretty much because that's the busy times. But, my son's starting to take over doing the business now. But where I'm going with this is I have some friends here that own some pubs and grills here in town in Colorado Springs. And they asked me if I ever thought about hosting trivia, and I actually found a software system that works well. They're based out of the UK. And so I did it for the first time at the Florida, Alabama show. And, Bobby Cornwell and I talked about making it happen. And from what I could tell, it was a pretty huge hit. But I want to hear what your thoughts were about it. I mean, I know it took a little time to get everybody, and that's always the hardest part, is getting people to get the app downloaded and then get connected to my router. And once they do that part, it's smooth sailing. But what were your thoughts about it overall? Because I plan on doing it at other associations in the future.
So I didn't find it difficult to download the app or to connect to your router. I did not find that difficult at all. but I understand the difficulty that you had getting other people to do that because they weren't listening to you. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I was sitting at a table and I didn't happen to know anybody. I wasn't sitting next to anybody and I didn't know the people that were 2 or 3 chairs away from me. So I listened to you and it was very clear and it was up on the screen. All you had to do was just load this, download this. Here's there was a code that you had to
Yep.
put in, bing, bang, boom, make up a name and you're done. And so I didn't think it was difficult at all. It's people,
Yeah.
if people would stop doing what they're doing long enough to concentrate on what you're trying to tell them to do, man, I'm being as politically correct as possible. Okay.
I know.
Gotcha. I'm really trying not to offend people. I know. Okay. But if they would just kind of pay attention, it's not hard at all. And then quite honestly, to be completely honest with you, right after your session, I was going to go put my booth together. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to download it. I wanted to see how it worked. And then I was planning on bailing after 4 or 5 questions. I think you did 40 questions or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
But I got caught up in it and I stayed for the whole thing. Okay. So that's a compliment. I was running number 3. I was number 3 quite a long time. I never did get to be the first answer and get an extra point. I kept thinking if I could answer a little faster, I could get an extra point and I could bump up a little bit. But then I don't know, you asked some harder questions or something and I started falling down. I think I ended up 11 out of 16. So, but you could take it as a compliment that it captured my attention and it made me want to stay longer. So if I was at a bar, instead of leaving after 1 drink and 5 questions, I would have ended up ordering another drink and staying for the entire 40 questions. So it was fair. And that's the problem with trivia. It's never fair. But when you're writing things down and you got 4 or 5 people and you assign them to go, okay, you look up this, you look up that. We'll go back and fill in the blanks later. That always is disappointing to me, frustrating to me that there's too many ways to cheat. But your app eliminates all of that cheating.
Yeah. And that's the whole goal behind it. The company that developed it, it's called Speed Quizzing. And as I mentioned, they're really cool guys. I actually spoke to the CEO of the company before I came out to Florida because I was telling him, hey, I'm going to start doing this for RV parks and conferences. Just FYI, I want to help you kind of get it branded here. And he was all real thankful for that. And he's like, yeah, he gave me a special code myself that people, whenever they download the software, they put in that code. So if they ever have like any issues or something, when he looks them up, like, oh, you're Bobby in the US and you're one of the RV parks that he's going to, we're going to give you some extra, help or support, which I personally haven't had any problems with the software yet. They keep enhancing it, which is really good. But when I first started using it, you didn't even get the questions on your phone. You had to look up on the screen and then you could only answer on your phone. Now they've enhanced it where you can put on your phone. And now when I do it at these pubs and bars, people bring an iPad, so they have a bigger screen to look at. So, and one thing though for you, Ed, I know I'll tell you this, sometimes when people try to get the fastest point, they end up messing themselves up because after you push the answer, you can't go back and change it. And then afterwards you're like, darn, I knew it was that, so a lot of times it's just take your time, get it and slowly creep up. But, some people just knew the answers right off the bat. And the way we did in Florida is I actually got the questions from the sponsored suppliers. So it was a nice little promotion for them to say, hey, for you being a sponsored supplier, we're asking questions about your stuff, which kind of help park owners and community homesteads and people learn a little bit more about the suppliers. So yeah, it was kind of fun. So we're excited. I've already been talking to Bobby about how we're going to change some things up for next year. So maybe do it a different time if possible or something. Because I know it was kind of rushed for the suppliers right before the trade show started, but we'll figure things out. But that's good information. I'm glad you gave me some good feedback about it. So
no problem.
Wow. So I like to try to keep these around 15 minutes, but like I said, we get to talking about cool stuff. I learned a lot about your park. We're already at 30 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Ed, thank you for being here on Supplier Spotlight. You're actually only the 3rd supplier that I've started doing these podcasts with, so I'm excited to get this thing going, and I hope it gets a little more traction down the road, and I'll be at future shows. Unfortunately, I can't make it to the Arizona show because I'll be going to Hawaii for my wife and I's anniversary, and I couldn't change the dates without getting charged. Yeah, thanks. 22
well,
years.
Miss a good presenter.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually on the Arizona Board of Directors. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, I got on the Arizona Association Board last year, so I've been working with them. And whenever I got laid off from my previous company that I was on the board with, I thought they were going to say, "Hey, you can't be on here." But when I started Supplier Spot, they're like, "Yeah, please stay on and help us out. It's nice to have like an outside source." So I was bummed though that the dates for our anniversary, because we have a specific time we have to be out there, I couldn't move them without getting charged a lot. So I'm actually miss it this year. But we already got the dates for next year, so I'll definitely be there next year.
Well, maybe we can catch up in Colorado. I'm not presenting for the glamping, but I'll be at the glamping show also.
I will be too. Yeah, I'll be sharing a booth with Roxy Baxley, who does Straight Web Solutions. She does a web design building stuff. So I'm actually sharing a booth with her. So yeah, I'll be there. It's right in my backyard. It's only 45 minutes from me. So definitely see you there.
I was stationed there in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you know the area very well. What were you at, Buckley or Peterson?
Lowry.
Oh, okay, Lowry.
Lowry's been closed since I was there.
Yep, it's closed down since then. Yep. Well, great, Ed. Thank you again for taking the time to come on with me. I appreciate it. Once again, this was Ed Bridgman with EOB and his Park Homestead RV community. So if you need any help with whatever for your park, reach out to Ed anytime. You can get his information. If you go to Supplier Spot, type in consulting, you can send him a message directly through Supplier Spot.
All right.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Supplier Spot Spotlight. Keep shining bright in the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Stay tuned for more illuminating conversations with industry experts. Until next time, enjoy the great outdoors.